There is an old saying that captures the absurdity of our current moment. You can silence 50 scholars with a single fact, but you cannot silence a single idiot with 50 facts. This paradox defines the tragedy of the modern age. We are witnessing a strange phenomenon where the death of critical thinking has led to the rise of a new, aggressive form of collective stupidity. In this landscape, everyone is absolutely convinced of their own righteousness. Opinions have become louder than logic, and emotional conviction is now valued more highly than empirical evidence. But we must ask ourselves, why is this happening? Why, in the age of information, is the capacity for deep reasoning dying faster than ever before? Before we can understand the collapse, we must first understand what is being lost. We need to step back and look at the origins of the disciplined mind. After all, thinking is a biological process, but critical thinking is a learned art. And the question remains, are you truly thinking, or are you merely rearranging your prejudices? The origins of the examined life. Critical thinking is not simply the act of processing information. It is the disciplined habit of interrogating reality. It is the refusal to accept assumptions without evidence, and the courage to apply reason before accepting a belief. In essence, it is the art of not being deceived, neither by the world nor by your own mind. The roots of this tradition stretch back over 2 millennia to ancient Greece. It was Socrates who pioneered the method of probing dialogue. He did not teach by giving answers. He taught by asking uncomfortable questions. He exposed the contradictions in what society accepted as truth. He offered the world a timeless paradox. The only thing I know is that I know nothing. This humility, the admission of ignorance, is the bedrock of all intellectual progress. But history shows us that society is rarely kind to those who question its foundations. Socrates paid for his questions with his life, sentenced to death for disrupting the comfortable illusions of Athens. From that seed, thinkers like Plato and Aristotle built the frameworks of logic and inquiry. Centuries later, the Enlightenment philosophers, led by Immanuel Kant, issued a challenge to humanity, sapere aude, dare to know. It was a call to emerge from self-imposed immaturity and to trust in reason. For a long time, this ability to weigh evidence and cut through illusion was considered the mark of an educated mind. It was the foundation of science, democracy, and progress. Yet today, despite having access to all the knowledge of the past, we are watching this legacy crumble. The paralysis of abundance. The first cause of this decline is, ironically, the abundance of answers. We live in an era where any question can be answered with a single click. At first glance, this seems like the ultimate empowerment. We carry the wisdom of the ages in our pockets. But the reality is far darker. We are not mastering information, we are drowning in it. Psychologists refer to this as information overload. When the human brain is bombarded with more data than it can process, it is forced to take shortcuts. Consider a simple example. If asked to solve a complex math problem, do you pause to work it out? Or do you instinctively reach for your phone? For most, the reflex is immediate. We have trained ourselves to offload the burden of thought onto machines. The Nobel Prize-winning psychologist Daniel Kahneman described the 2 systems of the mind. System 1 is fast, intuitive, and automatic. System 2 is slow, deliberate, and rational. Critical thinking resides entirely in System 2. The problem we face is that technology has allowed System 2 to go dormant, like a muscle that is never exercised. Our capacity for deep analysis is beginning to atrophy. This is known as the Google effect. We no longer retain knowledge. We only retain the location of the knowledge. We skim headlines, trust the first search result, and mistake access for understanding. In this environment, the Socratic method of slow, deliberate questioning has been replaced by a culture of instant gratification. Information overload has given us the illusion of omniscience, while stripping away the discipline required to actually understand the world. The comfort of the echo chamber. If information overload dulls the mind, the modern digital landscape traps it. Human beings have always been tribal. We biologically crave the safety of those who agree with us. But technology has amplified this instinct to a dangerous degree. Algorithms are designed to track our preferences and feed us content that aligns with our existing beliefs. The result is the echo chamber, a digital hall of mirrors where we only hear our own opinions reflected back to us. If you believe A, the algorithm ensures you rarely encounter a compelling argument for B. This creates a feedback loop of confirmation bias. The mind becomes lazy, accepting whatever confirms its worldview and dismissing anything contradictory as fake or biased. This phenomenon is not limited to extremists. Even self-proclaimed skeptics and rationalists form closed circles where their foundational assumptions are never challenged. When the group's opinion becomes the standard for safety, independent reasoning shuts down. The result is groupthink. Each tribe convinces itself that it possesses the monopoly on truth, while outsiders are viewed as blind or foolish. Honest inquiry is replaced by dogma. The question changes from, what is true, to, what does my side believe? In such a world, the Socratic spirit, the courage to seek truth even when it is uncomfortable, cannot survive. The economy of outrage. Finally, we must confront the environment in which our minds operate. If overload weakens us and echo chambers trap us, then sensationalism manipulates. The modern media landscape, from major news outlets to individual influence, operates on a simple economic principle. Attention is currency, and outrage generates the most attention. Headlines are no longer designed to inform, they are designed to provoke. Stories are framed to induce shock, fear, or anger. We are told constantly that we simply won't believe what happened, or that a crisis is imminent. Even honest educators feel the pressure to play this game, using exaggerated titles just to be heard above the noise. But the cumulative effect of this constant hype is a profound numbness. When everything is presented as a catastrophe, we lose the ability to distinguish between a minor issue and a major threat. Our emotions hijack our logic. We live in a state of perpetual anxiety, reacting instantly to headlines without pausing to verify them. This is the antithesis of critical thought. Journalism's old rule was, if it bleeds, it leads. But the algorithm has pushed this to an extreme. The result is a population that is always agitated, always distracted, and rarely thoughtful. We have created a rumor mill of outrage where the slow, careful analysis of complex issues feels out of place. We react with our knees, not our heads. The path to reconstruction. So, where does this leave us? If the mechanisms of the modern world are designed to suppress deep thought, how does one reclaim the mind? The answer lies not in a new app or a quick hack, but in a return to fundamental principles. It begins with the revival of curiosity. Einstein noted that he had no special talents, only a passionate curiosity. This is the antidote to mental laziness. It is the habit of pausing before accepting a claim and asking, what is the evidence? What if the opposite were true? It requires the discipline of slowness. In a world that demands instant reactions, the act of slowing down is an act of rebellion. It means reading the full article, tracing the source, and refusing to form an opinion until the facts are clear. It involves the strengthening of System 2. Just as we train the body, we must train the mind. This means engaging in activities that require sustained focus, doing the math yourself, writing out arguments, and weighing conflicting evidence. It demands the courage to leave the echo chamber. We must deliberately seek out perspectives that challenge us. We must read the arguments of those we disagree with, not to defeat them, but to understand them. This is the only way to dismantle confirmation bias. And finally, it requires a cultural shift. We must value the process of reasoning over the comfort of certainty. Leaders and educators must model this behavior, admitting what they do not know, and demonstrating the work required to find the truth. Skepticism is not cynicism. Cynicism rejects everything. Skepticism tests everything. To rekindle critical thinking is to refuse to live on autopilot. It is a choice to question, rather than to blindly accept. As Socrates reminded us 2,000 years ago, the unexamined life is not worth living. Most people will continue to float along the surface, carried by the current of collective opinion. They are content with the noise. But the fact that you are still listening suggests you are looking for the signal. You are part of the minority willing to do the work. If you want to continue this examination of reality, and if you value clarity over comfort, then make your move. Subscribe. Join the silent resistance.